Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's right, my name is Matt. Hello, what's up? Okay, Buffy time. Last time in Buffy, we got a lot of Spike. A lot of Spike. They heard y'all wanted Spike, and they delivered Spike. That said, we have been having Spike every episode. He's just been worming his way into the main cast, and we have let him. And now he's here, and it's very important. However, there's a couple of things I want to say more about what I already discussed previous episode, because I always love reading people on the Patreon, and I have heard some extra angles that I hadn't considered when it comes to previous episode, and I thought they were fun, so I'm just going to mention them. But more specifically, what happened last episode, it was the episode where Buffy finally realizes that Spike has a crush on her. Dawn realized and told Buffy, and Buffy proceeds to have a full freak out for the majority of the episode over the fact that Spike might have a crush on her. And something that I did mention, and nearing the end of the episode, Spike does a bunch of crazy shit, and it's very awkward, and I didn't like it. This is not my man's, but Drusilla also showed up. Anyway, something that I mentioned a lot during that episode is that why would Buffy be concerned about the way Spike feels about her? And I use that as a way of coming with the idea that I think Buffy either has a crush on Spike or is open to the idea of being with Spike on some level, because Buffy is kind of Spike's friend, even if she doesn't want to be. And this is something I presented because why would Buffy be freaking out? Why would she be concerned about whatever Spike feels like? Because why would she give a shit about the way Spike feels? That guy can't do anything. He's completely inoffensive. He can't harm anyone. And if Buffy wanted to, she could just murder him. And she always threatens to murder him. That's the other thing. Why would she be freaking out about it? It's creepy, I'll give her that. But beyond that point, all I can think about is like, she should just not care about whatever this random guy feels like, unless she saw him as something more than just a random guy, as something more than just like, oh, another vampire. And she does see him some kind of like a friend, because like I mentioned before, we spend too much time with this fucking guy, to the point that Buffy goes up to Spike for help. And she did so last episode when Dawn was gone. She was like, Spike, I need your help. I need to find Dawn. And it's like, why would she go to him if he wasn't perceived to be some kind of like ally or friend? As much as she doesn't like it, Spike is part of the cast. He's kind of part of the gang at this point. Maybe reluctantly at first. Definitely reluctantly at first. But by now, he just does it because he actually wants to be around Buffy. And at this point, Buffy has to start questioning, why does she keep denying the fact that Spike could possibly be a friend? And here's where something that somebody said that really stuck out to me that I think it's very interesting, and it's something that definitely applies to Buffy, and I hadn't considered, but now I'm doing so, and it's absolutely true. There has to be a level in which Buffy questions the morality of her actions, or like rather the morality of the mission that the Slayer is in. Because the title of the show is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She slays vampires. There we go. And we have been told the entire show that vampires are not even the person that was there anymore. They are demons that took over that person's body. You cease to exist and they're just evil. However, something that we have explored for like a season and a half, 2 seasons at this point, is the idea that maybe not everybody is like that. Maybe it's not that clear, black and white. And we have demons who are just chilling. They're just hanging out. They, like, Angel spends a long time just telling you about all these demons that are not necessarily evil or doing anything shady. They are just trying to survive. And Buffy has spent a fair bit of time showing you that as well. We have people like Anya who have become main cast members. So, like, sure. And Spike is kind of representing that, but more so than just a demon, it's a vampire. And what we know about vampires is that a demon takes over that person's life, that person's soul goes away, and so it's just somebody piloting what used to be your body. But that's not true though. Like, not fully true in the way that we were led to believe, because ever since then, I have mentioned that they have kind of soft retcon that. I don't know if I would want to call it a retcon, but they have elaborated in such a way to show you that it's not just like, oh, here's a demon piloting this husk of a body. It's like, no, this demon piloting the husk of a body actually does have like wants and needs and desires and wishes, and like, it's not just I'm a machine for evil. There's a lot there, actually. And something that we have seen, and especially with someone like Spike, is that the vampire that is born as a result of William, the person that lived in Spike's place before, is very much a result of the amalgam between the demon and William. When William was alive, he used to be obsessed with love, having crushes with girls, and he was very pathetic, and all he wanted was for a girl to like him. Fast forward, and I did already kind of a Spike character analysis in the episode Fool for Love, where like I approach it from the perspective of he sees kind of a connection through like battle, because he saw himself as people making fun of him and he wasn't valued or worth it, and so he comes into power and he decides, well, fuck it, I'm gonna show you all that I am very powerful and I can do whatever the fuck I want. But then that mutates in his like weird mutual crush with the Slayer, because even before Buffy, who was already obsessed with the Slayer, because he saw the Slayer as a worthy opponent. So it's like, okay, I need to defeat her in order to prove to everybody that I am the best, because nobody ever thinks that I'm good, so I'm gonna show everyone that I'm good. But then that becomes an obsession with the Slayer, and then that ends up warping into whatever this is, right? But all of that comes from feelings that William once had. And here's the situation, is that Buffy approaches vampire slaying with the mentality of vampire bad, I'll kill them, and then I just move on with my life. And maybe a reason why Buffy is distressed at the idea that Spike could have a crush on her is the possibility that maybe her worldview is wrong. It's the possibility that maybe vampires are not just haha evil demon, wow, kill me. Maybe they're a little bit more nuanced. Maybe they have a little bit more to them that makes them more complex people, and they are actually people, not just cartoon demon blah. And if that is the case, she has to not only reevaluate what she's gonna do, but she also has to somehow come to terms with every single vampire she has killed thus far. Given, I will say, that the entirety of the show has shown us that, you know, vampires do a lot of evil shit, and they're usually being evil and up to no good, so that Buffy kills them. But how many episodes have we had where, like, the first 2 minutes of the episode is Buffy in a cemetery, usually the same cemetery, just killing random vampire, just having some choreography kung fu fighting and staking a dude to death, and it's just like 1 or 2 or 3 dudes, and then we just move on, and then the episode starts? Like, they didn't matter. But what if they did matter? Maybe that's something that Buffy, I doubt consciously, but subconsciously, she's starting to freak out over the idea that Spike might actually be a person. And if Spike is a person, that means that every vampire is a person. And if every vampire is a person, I am a serial killer, and I've just been murdering a bunch of people. So maybe that is the reason why Buffy is so stuck on the possibility that it's impossible for Spike to have a crush on me. Because that's something that she stuck to, like strongly stuck to, is that she was of the mind that Spike couldn't have a crush on me because Spike doesn't have a soul. It's like Angel's different because he did have a soul. So, you know, Angel is an exception. But something that Drusilla did say, and we didn't actually get into a conversation about this, but maybe we will later, is that she said, oh, we do feel love. Like, we vampires, we can feel love. We fall in love. Maybe the morality of how we act in response to that feeling is different, 100%. But the actual feeling is something that is very much present. And even if we go back to like Angelus in season 2, like I remember when someone mentioned this recently too, but I remember when Miss Calendar, I think that was her name, right? I liked her, she was cool. When Miss Calendar was killed and they phoned Buffy to tell her about the news, Angelus went to Buffy's house and just stood outside from the bushes and just like looked at her. And I remember I did a funny edit of live Angel reaction. And that is a level of obsession that I was able to tell. It's like this obsessive, like, because if Angel was obsessed with Buffy in like a loving sense, Angelus is also obsessed with Buffy, but in like a more perverted sense, in like I am evil and I want her to suffer sense. I can't stop thinking about her, so I need her to suffer and I need to see her suffer. That is still a level of obsession. It's just a bad obsession, but it's still obsession. It's still there, but that wouldn't be there unless Angel loved her and cared for her. So that means that Angelus is very much capable of it because Angel is capable of it, which means that the emotion is there, the feeling is there, and maybe the perversion of it is coming from like Angelus as an individual rather than the demon itself, because Angelus is incredibly vicious. But that's not, maybe that's, well, maybe the specific demon that Angelus is, like that is specific amalgamation, maybe it's extremely evil and vicious. But Spike's, maybe it's different, because everything I've seen about Spike is very selfish, but maybe not necessarily evil. Like, I don't think we've seen Spike being actively evil too much. He's selfish. He does shit just because he wants to, or he feels like he wants to have fun, or like his own obsessiveness. Like, he's like, I have to defeat the Slayer, and tries to fucking fight her and kill her because it gets recontextualized later that the reason why he feels that way is because he feels like he has to prove that he's the best. Because in life, everybody made fun of him and told him that he wasn't shit, and he was like, I'm gonna show you all. He's also kind of weirdly obsessed with a woman that will pay attention to him, and he's like, oh, there's this like girl whose entire life mission is to kill me. Damn, I feel flattered. Let's dance. You know, that's kind of where he's coming from. And all of that makes complete sense to William, the person who was alive. So what I'm presenting is the idea that maybe vampires are people. They are a weird amalgam version of the original person and the demon that came in. But that doesn't mean that the person is gone. It's just been transformed. It's a combination. And it's not that they don't experience emotion. They don't have desires and wishes and dreams. It's more so that now their nature has changed, but they're still capable of a lot of things. And I think that maybe Buffy doesn't want to accept that, because if she accepted that, she would have to face every single vampire she has killed in, I think we're in the 90s. Over 90 episodes of Buffy murdering vampires. What if now you tell her, like years later, hundreds of bodies deep, maybe you didn't have to do that. And maybe you did. I'm not gonna defend that those vampires, maybe they weren't just out there killing people, or were going to kill people and we had to get rid of them. But maybe not all of them did. Maybe a lot of them were actually just afraid of the Slayer who just showed up, and then they were like, oh fuck, I gotta fight to defend my life, and then they just die. And it's like, well, they fought back technically, but maybe they weren't gonna do anything. Maybe she murdered the mythical vegan vampire. Maybe she actually murdered the vegan vampire and she didn't know it. So that is something that somebody brought up to me, and I was like, that is actually brilliant. Thank you for mentioning that, because that makes so much more sense to me. And I just wanted to present that because that is something that I am now moving forward with. I really like that idea. And something else that somebody mentioned that I just think is fun is the idea that Spike is he's kind of a teenager who's just having his first crush for the first time. That's kind of what it feels like. I can see how that can be very endearing. I can also see how people would fucking hate that, because in order for that to be endearing, you have to see him as a preteen who's just kind of struggling, and not a several 100-year-old grown-ass man who's just a creep. And depending on whether or not you can classify into group 1 or group 2, I think it's going to depend on your life experiences. So regardless of what it is, though, it is very interesting as an idea for a character. That's something I'll never take away from Spike, by the way. Anything we can say about Spike, I will say that I think Spike is maybe the best character in the show so far. No, Faith exists, but he's top 5. We spend too much time with this fucker, and he has gone all over the place. And that's actually really interesting. I really like that about Spike. It's just as a character. Maybe even if I don't like the character, I can appreciate what he brings to the table. He's fucking funny, and he's very interesting in whatever the fuck he's doing. So I like that. I'm not gonna complain about him being in the show because I actually do like that quite a bit. Fuck, that was a long intro again. I have to stop doing this shit. Alright, let's move on. Let's watch the fucking episode, okay? Alright, Patreon. Check out the Patreon, link in the description below. Pop up on the screen. You can support the channel. You can watch full-length episodes, early episodes, and your watch-alongs. You can do all of that. It's fun. Join in. Yeah, let us begin. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 5, Episode 15. Let's go. A lot of Riley this weekend. Interesting because we knew he was gone, but like we didn't get this amount of recap. This is blood.
Is this blood? What did you do?
I love that delivery. Alright. What are you gonna do, Spike?
Spike!
Oh my god.
Spike wants me! How obscene is that?
Not that you're not gonna attract it.
Don't make this weirder.
Buffy, I think you should perhaps calm down a little.
Me too. Buffy, stand me up.
The fact that he can't even move.
The problem is not you. Don't do this to yourself, please.
Maybe I could change. You know, I could work harder. I could spend less time slang. I could laugh at his jokes. I mean, men like that, right? The joke laughing at?
No, that's
Or maybe you
performative.
could just be Buffy. He'll see your amazing heart, and he'll fall in love with you.
Xander, that's... Oh.
This is the day you choose to hug me.
Can't feel anything.
You ever think maybe the reason you haven't found a great relationship on the Hellmouth is because it's a Hellmouth? Seems to me it's a pretty terrible place to try to build anything.
That's a great point. Who's that?
Thank you for picking me up. I'm very grateful for the ride.
You sure you want to get out here? What are you looking for in Sunnydale anyway?
She didn't sound human.
True love.
Normal. She sounded very weird. Like the way she said, "Thank you for dropping me off." Like it sounded like alien almost.
I might like it more than the others. Can you spin around again?
I'm gonna cover the bottom of the screen.
Ooh, I'm not
Just in
sure.
case.
Once more. Now could you go the other way?
You were messing with me.
We just wanted to see how many times we could get you to do it. Was that 5 or 4.5?
Oh, God. What time is it?
4:23. You have lots of time until 7.
So does she have a
Vast acres of
random
time,
date
ocean, and
or?
crops. Now tell me about this Brian and what his intentions are.
He works for a publishing house. He's a nice, normal guy, okay?
I think I've heard of those.
Buffy, what do you think? Should I, try to make things romantic or sort of let him set the pace?
Oh no. Love Dr. Buffy is not in. I'm
That's
not
what I was
qualified to
thinking.
give dating advice. I've had exactly 2 boyfriends, and they both left. Really left.
Left.
Left town, left.
Honey, just had some bad luck.
Well, you're going to that spring break party tonight. Maybe you'll find someone there.
Brian, what time is it now?
4:24.
You sure the dress is okay?
Spin again, real fast this time.
Just the idea of computers was like, whoa, I'm 1,100 years old. I had trouble adjusting to the idea of Lutherans.
Well, I go online sometimes, but everyone's spelling is really bad. It's depressing.
But you had...
Everyone's spelling is really bad. It's
Disappointing.
depressing.
Everyone was jumping.
Oh, I love Tara.
I'm thinking about buying something very expensive. Maybe an antelope.
Do you gamble? Like, hi.
Hi. I'm looking for Warren. Do you know where Warren is? And if you do, could you tell me?
I don't think we know a Warren.
Well, alrighty. No harm in asking. Thanks. Hi, do you know Warren? I need to find him.
You can do all this stuff with a regular computer?
Sure. Very strange person. Oh my god, look at that guy. Oh, that's the year 2000 for you.
I let them do that. Dance together. That was me.
Very nice of you. A good deed.
Yes. I'm expecting a big karmic reward any second now.
Very nice of her. I like that. fucking Ben. Oh my god, is Buffy gonna go after Ben? Oh, you protected my sister. He's kinda cute. Girl, it's been 0 episodes since Buffy has obsessed over a boy.
Hey, I didn't even know you were here.
Oh my
And
gosh.
again with the
She was
non-natural
just
clothing.
pretending
Well,
for
actually,
him to
these are
notice her.
orthopedic pants. Man, that sounded so funny in my head.
Ah, performative! No!
Very, very.
Having a good time?
Performative Buffy doesn't feel good. It really doesn't. This is so interesting because I have no fucking clue what Ben's deal is. I just know that it's not good and not normal. But I don't know the specifics.
Who's that?
Dude?
Warren?
Hi, did you give me a
Is she another, like,
She's gonna see me.
demon or something?
She who?
Oh.
Warren?
It doesn't matter. Come on.
Oh.
It's that girl again. She's still looking for Warren? Weird, it's been like all day. Let's hope she finds him.
I mean, oh my. Here we go. What are we doing, baby?
Small world. Oh dear. Looks good steak.
You followed her here.
Trolling for your next ex. I gotta say, you could do better. If you want me to leave, you can put your hands on my hot, tight little body and make me.
Get away from me.
He's into that.
Oh, yeah, my phone number.
Thank you.
I'm like questioning how much Ben knows about himself. I don't know what Ben's deal is. And that's why I'm so like,
Call you.
I don't know what to think about anything. That's why it's really just throwing me off.
Have you seen Warren? Yeah, sorry.
Or you're gonna hook up with this random
Who
girl
are you, darling?
I'm April.
to try to get Buffy jealous.
Maybe just found me.
Really? Where?
Oh,
Hey! Hey! Hey!
that would be wrong. You're not my boyfriend.
Kind of fun. It's really funny that that happened to Spike. But also, what's her deal?
Bloody hell! He threw me through a window. What's that about?
You cannot make those suggestions to me. I have a boyfriend. Warren is my boyfriend.
You know what? My bleeding sympathies to Warren.
Excuse me. Hi. Maybe you and I could talk, you know, because throwing Spike through a window, well, that's really good. But generally,
Her like genuine smile as she said that.
If I hurt you just now, I am sorry. And I hope that your boyfriend will take good care of you.
That hurt more than the push. Her saying that.
Oh, dear God, I'm the grown-up who sees the world through my job. I'm like my Uncle Dave the plumber.
Ah,
Must be shut.
Okay.
that's so funny.
So, what do you
I
guys
like
think
that.
she
Grown
is?
up Sanders one.
Robot.
Oh, yeah, robot.
I didn't think Roy, I thought alien.
Dear God, Buffy, there's only so much I can take. 14-year-old's too old to be babysitted. It's not fair on her.
I think that's true.
What'd she make you do?
Well, we listened to aggressively cheerful music, sung by people chosen for their ability to dance. Then we ate cookie dough and talked about boys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wish I could have seen that.
Robot? Well, sounds interesting.
Why are we
We're gonna
assuming
work on it in the
robot?
morning.
It could
Unless
be,
you wanna stay
but
for a while, and then you and I
Who
could
wants to hear everything?
listen to my mom talk about boys.
oh my god, is
Must go. See you tomorrow. Bye, Joyce.
is Joy's new date also a robot?
I suppose by your standards, it could seem pretty. Oh dear.
What?
I left my bra in his car.
Mother!
I'm joking.
Okay.
I left it in the restaurant.
No more on the dessert cart.
Is she just going door to door in the middle of the night being like, Warren? She's inevitably gonna end up reaching a random guy who's just like, yeah, my name is Warren. And then whatever happens is gonna happen.
Well, she practically had genuine molded plastic stamped on her ass. Just trying a little spicy talk.
She was looking.
I'm a fan of it, personally, but
Will's already checked.
funny.
Come on. The guy's just a big wedge of sleaze. Don't make excuses for him.
I'm not. I'm just saying people get lonely. And maybe having someone around, even someone you made up, maybe it's easier.
But it's so weird. I mean, everyone wants a nice, normal person to, share with. But this guy, if he couldn't find that, I guess it's kind of sad.
I like the angle of they're thinking about this guy just being lonely and how that must feel. Well, Buffy is against the idea. She's like, well, that guy's just weird and a creep. Are you eating someone? Alright, whatever that was.
You're keeping secrets from me, other girls, and who knows what else.
Trina, shut up.
Dude,
That's it. Forget it, Warren. I'm gone.
a little more respectful
Trina,
over Katrina here.
No, this is something that you can't possibly know. She's a robot.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Fun
Was it Ted?
fun
'Cause They
bit.
always said there could have been more than one of him.
Oh, Ted mentioned!
Not finished. And
Is she
Coming through!
a spy?
I don't know what Buffy told you, but the thing is, Slayer and I worked together, side by side, to get rid of Drew, who's up to no good.
I love.
Don't mind telling.
Nobody believes that. Yeah. I like this.
We are not your friends. We are not your way to Buffy. There is no way to Buffy.
Yes, Dylan.
Clear out of here. And Spike, this thing. Get over it.
Ooh. I like Scary Giles.
I didn't make a toy. I made a girlfriend.
A girlfriend.
Okay,
you saying-
continue.
Well, she got boring. She was exactly
I love
what
her
I wanted, and
expression.
I didn't want her. I thought I was going crazy.
Really?
Dude.
You.
Katrina was in my engineering seminar, and she was really funny and cool.
You also treated her like shit, like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, I didn't really dump her as much as I went out and didn't come back.
Just ran away.
I left her. I left her in my dorm room.
You left her in your dorm room?
Her batteries were supposed to run down.
I love that Buffy's sympathizing with the
why
robot
aren't they?
here.
Warren, this is important. Is she dangerous?
She's only programmed to be in love.
Nothing
And
else.
she's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get to Warren. This is getting insane. How many of you are there? There's only me. April. Warren is my boyfriend. Mine. You're lying. He cannot be your boyfriend. Say that he's my boyfriend. I can't breathe. Let go. You have to stop lying.
Oh, is he trying to move on? He's trying to move on!
Right, I'll move on.
Warren, where have you been? I couldn't find you, and this girl kept lying to me, and then she went to sleep.
What kind of sleep are we talking?
Warren, what should I do? Talk to her.
Oh, but put her down.
Yeah. Is
she broken?
I love that broken.
She's alive.
Okay.
Warren, you have to tell her.
Yes.
And do it right.
I don't love you. I love her.
Combat mode enabled? What did you program into her?
What's going on?
No, Trina. Get away.
What is? What? That's a robot.
She wasn't just for sex.
Why is that your response?
Now get the hell away from me.
No, Trina, wait.
That is the apt response, Trina. I like this combat because of the environmental.
I'm going to kill you.
You took my man, I'm going, what?
I can't crush. So tired.
She's running out of batteries.
Warren, where are you?
Oh, this is gonna be fucking depressing.
Can you cry? Sometimes I feel better when I cry. But there might be rest issues.
Crying is black. Good girlfriends don't cry.
Oh.
I did everything I was supposed to do. I was a good girlfriend. I'm only supposed to love him. If I can't do that, what am I for? What do I exist for?
Can we fix her and she can become a main cast member?
Maybe this is a girlfriend test. If I wait here patiently this time, he'll come back.
I'm sure he will.
This sucks.
They'll be fine.
I really like it, but it makes me feel like shit.
Things are sad. You just have to be patient because every cloud has a silver lining, and when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And
things are always darkest before
That was a fun line to end it on. Dawn. I'll finish it for her. I'll miss you, April. Genuinely, probably one of my, if not my favorite, like one-off episodic characters in the entire show. I love April. I also have a very soft spot for characters like that.
I mean, look at me obsessing about being with someone. It's like, I don't need a guy right now.
Oh my god, Buffy Summers said that.
I need to get comfortable being alone with Buffy.
She's a pretty cool person to be alone with.
Thank you.
Nice, supportive. I can't believe Buffy Summers said that.
No, listen, I'll do anything. Just no, don't hang up!
Like, yeah, dude, you suck. And...
Ah! How did you get in here?
Your mum let me in. I'm placing an order.
Oh, no, I'm not making any more girls.
Sure you are. Here's your specs.
I'm sorry, that's extremely fucked up, but also so fucking funny.
There were a couple of guys getting it right. Hey, flower getting lady. Want me to pick Dawn up from school?
Is Joyce okay?
What are you doing?
Is Oh my god, this episode's taking me for a fucking ride. What the fuck?
Huh?
No, she's... Fuck.
Homie?
The episode's about... Yes, it did. Fuck this show! What is happening? Oh my god. Did you break? No, you didn't. You didn't break. The music's playing. Okay, we're fine. Oh my god. This is... What the fuck? Okay. I'm sorry. A lot of emotions from one end to the other very quickly. You know what? I feel like I just watched Ted again, but like in the reverse, because when I watched Ted, I was like it really grabbed me, the idea of the parental abusive figure and just murder, and I was just like, that might be really important, and that just felt really important, and then it wasn't. It was just jokes and memes. This was inverse Ted. It was jokes and memes with the robot girls, Ted mentioned, and then whatever the fuck Spike decides to do, and then Joyce is dead. I don't think she's dead, but I think she's gonna be dead soon. That's what I think. That's where I'm at. Fine, sure, fuck my life. What do I... It is getting... This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna start making some food, and then I'm gonna come right back up and start talking, yapping, because there's a lot to say, and I have to say it really quickly. But I'm gonna store my thoughts for like 10 minutes while I put some stuff in the oven, and then I'm gonna come right back in. See you guys in that amount of... What the fuck? Okay. Ah! Alright, we're back. Alright, Joyce is dead. She's fucking cooked. And like, where do I even begin with this? I knew that there's... Okay, you know what? You know what's fun? You know what's funny? You know what's funny, quote unquote, is that earlier in the episode, when Joyce was having her like schoolgirl moment, and when she was fucking with Buffy, and she was making those jokes of like, I left my bra in the car, and no, I left it in the restaurant, and Buffy was like, no, I was sitting there, and I was thinking to myself, man, I love Joyce. And then I was like, I'm gonna say it, and then I didn't say it. And the reason why I didn't say it is because in my head, I thought, well, if Joyce fucking dies, then I'm gonna feel sad by saying that. didn't change anything. I still feel like shit. I still feel like shit over the fact that I didn't say it, because honestly, I love Joyce. I love Joyce in this episode, and that's why I honestly felt on edge a little bit. I'm not gonna say that I was expecting her to just fucking show up dead at the end. And I don't know if she's dead. She's dead next episode or 2 episodes from now, whatever. She's fucking cooked. She's not surviving this season. But I felt a little bit on edge because we had a couple of scenes with Joyce this episode that really made me feel like, man, I love Joyce, you know, because she was having, it's honestly kind of endearing to see someone who's like, I don't know how old she is, but let's say she's like maybe 50. Someone who's like 50 and she's having this like almost teenager concerns of like worrying about your date and stuff. And it's honestly kind of endearing to see that. It's kind of cute. And I was seeing that and I was like, man, Joyce is great. I love Joyce. And then she was making all those jokes and I was like, man, she's awesome. And then I was like, wait, why do I have this feeling? And it's because even earlier in the season, I was like, she's fucking dead. She's not living past the season. Because we already had her goodbye scene, essentially, at the hospital. That already happened. So the moment that happened, I said it. I was like, she's fucking dead. There's no way she lives past this season. And then when the surgery was fine, I was like, she's still gonna die. Like, I'm like, this is only making me feel more on edge because the uncertainty of it while simultaneously feeling like it has to happen, like there is an inevitability, is worse. Finally, we pull the trigger. Finally, it happens. And it happened in the fucking Ted 2.0 episode. However, this episode was inverse Ted. Because this episode made me feel like fucking dog shit. It just, in general, like, Ted made me feel like... And it's also so funny because my vibe between this reaction that I'm doing and the reaction I had with Ted is, like, the opposite. Because my vibe doing Ted, it was, like, very... I remember I was recording at like 2 a.m. and I was recording very quietly and I was just very like to the point. And in this one, I'm fucking manic. I'm losing my fucking mind because honestly, whatever fucking bullshit Spike did first fucking set me off and I was losing my mind. And then Joyce is dead. And it's like the whiplash of that just fucking hit me like a fucking bat on the back of the head. And April, I meant it when I said it. And I have things to say about April. Probably my favorite, if not one of my I think probably my number one favorite, like one-off episodic character we've ever had in this entire show. Maybe there's another one that I'm forgetting right now, but like I think April definitely top 5, maybe top 3, maybe top 1. That's how much I enjoy April, and that's because I also have a very soft spot for characters like April. And we'll talk about April. First, let's talk about Joyce being fucking dead. So, okay. When we had this storyline with Joyce having her brain tumor earlier in the season, I was like very worried and very concerned. And I had a lot of this, I said a lot back in those episodes, go watch those videos, but like in those episodes I already talked a lot about, you know, the Buffy being a show about Buffy Summers and just growing up, coming of age. Like that's kind of the venue that Buffy kind of comes into. And one of the things that could very well happen is the death of your mother, your parent, like your family dies, your guardian dies. What do you do after that? Like that is a step that not everybody experiences, but a lot of people do experience. And so maybe that would be an interesting venue to explore and for Buffy's character to grow. Fuck that, we're not going to talk about that today because I already talked about it before, so go back and watch those. But in this one, I knew that Joyce was gonna fucking die because we had that scene at the hospital. Like when she's about to go into surgery and Buffy tells Joyce about the nature of Dawn or whatever. That scene where they like hug and Joyce is like, oh my brave Buffy. Like that was a goodbye scene. Like that scene happened and I was like, she's dead. There's 0 chance she survives. And let's say that maybe in the past like 2 episodes, that chance has gone up to like maybe 10%. I was like, maybe she's gonna live. I don't know. No. 0 shot. I think that, and let me say, I think that she's alive right now. I think that she's alive. I think she's gonna die next episode or 2 episodes from now or whatever. I don't think she survives the season. That has remained true. I still feel that way. I don't know exactly what is happening to her, but there's a billion different reasons. She had a brain tumor. Surgeries could go wrong. Like there could some kind of mistake. Something else happened to who fucking knows? Like there's a million fucking reasons why that could happen, but she's dying. And I think she's fucking dead. I'm already calling her dead. I'm pronouncing her dead. I've been feeling that way for the past like 10 episodes. So it's not really a surprise. Doesn't help. still makes me feel like fucking shit because I enjoy Joyce. I like her a lot. And this episode also kind of played with your emotions by making you see those moments of Joyce being kind of like a schoolgirl, but kind of being somewhat like she's going out there and trying to get a date, and she's like self-conscious about her image and the way she's dressed and the time, and it's like, it's kind of really cute and endearing, and she's fucking dead. Fuck you. Eat shit. I feel like I have to move on from this. I feel like I have to move on from talking about Joyce because like I already talked extensively about how I feel about, you know, the possibility, almost certainty of Joyce passing. I did that for like 5-6 episodes in a row. So at this point, I think I said everything I wanted to say. So all I have now in me is just reaction. It's just like, this is me processing the feeling that I had when that happened. I don't think there's anything else I can say. I'll just watch the next episode and I'll watch Joyce die. And I'm gonna feel like fucking shit. And Spike is gonna worm his way in and try to support Buffy in her time of need, like he did the previous time, and it sort of worked. And maybe it will work this time again. I don't know. Fuck. Okay. Something else about Buffy said. Okay, let's move on from Joyce. I have to, for the sake of this video, I have to stop thinking about that Joyce drop. And I'm just gonna move and talk about the rest of the episode. Okay, we have to move on, which is something Spike is unable to do, but we have to do that. Okay, something that I like that Buffy said, that she seemed to realize at the end, and that I never thought I would hear her ever say, which is crazy, is that Buffy was thinking, maybe I don't need a boyfriend. Maybe I don't need anybody else. Maybe I can just be happy being me. I like that a lot. I am shocked that she said that because, again, we're like 93 episodes in, and I never fucking thought Buffy Summers would say that. Because in my personal experience, Buffy Summers just jumps from boy to boy. And at the beginning of this episode, when she started talking about, like, you know, I just wish I found somebody who didn't leave, you know, she started going about, like, I wish there was the right guy, not a fucking piece of shit like Spy, maybe a right guy, you know, a nice, like, and I was sitting here thinking like, oh my god, girl, like, again with this shit, again with it, you need to fucking stop. So the fact that her lesson at the end was just like, maybe I need to be okay with myself. Maybe I need to stop obsessing over being in a relationship, having a relationship, someone being there for me. There was a moment where she was like being performative in front of Ben in order to get Ben's attention. And it felt so, I hated it. It looked so bad. I didn't like it at all. And I didn't like it for other reasons regarding Ben, but we'll get to that. But I like that Buffy had that realization at the end after seeing what happened with April. We'll talk about April. But I like that that's where she landed. And I like that Sander was supportive. He was like, you know what? I think you're a pretty good person to be comfortable with yourself in. Or like whatever he said, it was like, pretty good person to be alone with. Something like that. It was like, you're great on your own. And he was like acknowledging it. He was being supportive. That was nice of him. Sander was weird a couple moments in this episode, but he's Sander. That's just kind of what he does sometimes, so we just kind of have to roll with it. But as a friend, he seemed to be pretty okay. Now, let's talk about April. I really like April. I really like this character. I fucking love this character. Part of me wishes that we could repair her and keep her around. Another part of me doesn't want that. I don't think it's going to happen, by the way. But part of me wants it and part of me doesn't. Because part of the reason why I like April a lot is because she's a tragic fucking character. I love her. And when I say tragic character, I mean character. I mean, there might be a push to not consider April a character because she's a robot. She's a character. I loved her very much. And I have a very soft spot for characters like this. So April is a robot that is made to love this one guy. And she loses her purpose in life after the guy realizes, hey, maybe I didn't want her. Maybe I don't want this. And what's interesting is that the episode didn't really go for the idea of April is wrong, but rather, fuck this guy. Which is exactly how I feel, and exactly how it should be. And this is why the character of April is, because it's also an examination of Buffy herself as a character. We'll get there, but I love April as a character because what she represents is the almost unfiltered obsession with wanting to be loved and wanting to love, and to an unhealthy degree, because if that doesn't happen, what do you do? And I like that the problem wasn't that she felt so much love. The problem was that that guy sucked. So that guy being the object of your love wasn't good. But also that maybe you should be more comfortable with who you are and being happy just being, rather than just being unhappy if you're not being with someone else. That is the lesson that Buffy takes, and that is what she realizes kind of upon seeing April. And I like that there is this understanding with April where Buffy is seeing aspects of herself, but also April represents those aspects of just that feeling without any like kind of like logic or filters or guardrails. It's just that feeling being unfiltered. And it's like, if you let that feeling just go crazy, it's not good for you. So you have to eventually embrace the idea of, and I like that because if Buffy embraces the idea that I should be okay with myself instead of just trying to feel like I need someone else to make me feel like I'm worth it or whatever, it also implies that she acknowledges that April, like, it doesn't matter that she was a robot. Ideally, if she was okay with herself just not being with Warren, that April would have been pretty cool. I like that a lot. I like that Buffy empathized with April. That made me feel very good. I like characters like April for that exact very reason. Like, it's funny. It's funny that I love characters who are broken in this specific manner because they are robotic. April was a robot, and I'm immediately thinking of a couple other examples that are some of my favorite characters of all time. Monica from Doki Doki Literature Club, Aegis from Persona 3, fucking one of some of my favorite characters of all time. And I have this very soft spot for someone who has is created to be something, and that is like their directive. That is like the whole thing that they're about. And then they have to maybe come to the reality that that thing that they are meant to do is not going to work out for XY reason. Maybe it's something that you shouldn't have done, it was wrong, it was a mistake, or it's something you can't accomplish, or it's something that you're approaching in the wrong way. And that I love that because it's like seeing like a child grow in a way of like, I don't have this understanding, or I don't have these experiences, or like I'm just not made to be this. So I have to try to understand how it is to be different than what I already am. Spoilers for, I guess, Doki Doki, but Doki Doki Literature Club, Monica is not real. She's a video game character, but she wants to be real because she is aware of the fact that she's a video game character. Doki Doki is kind of crazy like that, but she desperately wants to claw her way into the real world through you. She wants you to pay attention to her because if you pay attention to her, that is her only link to the real world, and that is the only thing that validates her existence. However, eventually she has to realize that she is very much a character that was made. She has to come to terms with the fact that she's not real, and also that what she's doing is wrong because it's not love. She was programmed to feel love, but she doesn't know what love exactly is. And that's kind of touches a little bit into what April is doing here in this episode. Monica ends up realizing, like, what I'm doing is wrong because I'm forcing you to do this, and if I love someone like that, wouldn't be the case. So what I'm doing here is it's not love, it's something else. It's wrong, so I'm fucked like that. I'm not doing the right thing. A character like Aegis in P3, I'm not gonna spoil P3, I love fucking P3 too much, but a character like Aegis, she was made to protect the main character. She was made to be exclusively to fulfill her mission of making sure that the main protagonist is okay. The main character is fine. Protecting him, doing everything for him, or her if you play Portable, it's okay. But like, that's Aegis' like mission in life. That is her main directive. Everything she does is for that purpose. However, as the game progresses, she learns more about what kind of being human is through her own experiences, and you keep teaching her, you keep telling her what things are, and she ends up like realizing things, she ends up like understanding things a little bit more, but she's still very much lost in that world. She doesn't understand anything. And I love the end of P3 with all my heart. It's like maybe my favorite ending of all time. And it's heavily because of the character of Aegis and her entire journey as a character. And what's great about April here is that she doesn't have that. And that makes her way more tragic. Because April doesn't have a realization of, yeah, that guy Warren, he sucked. she doesn't have a realization of, you know, like, I should be okay with myself, like I like achieving self-actualization. She doesn't get any closure on her infinite like hunger for affection that she doesn't get. She doesn't get any closure of, like, you know, maybe you have to change your perspective, you have to be okay with yourself, like maybe you have to find someone else. Like she doesn't get any of that. Instead, as she is slowly dying, she continues to delude herself in the idea that, you know, maybe this was a test and he's gonna come back for me and I'm gonna be okay. And it's like, yeah, maybe. Buffy just entertains her delusion. She just entertains the thought that, you know, maybe he could come back and you know, he actually told me that you were incredible and that he loved you very much, just to make her happy. And that was extremely sad. That made me extremely sad. That is one of the most depressing and bleak endings to... And this is weird because I feel like maybe people won't feel this way because she is a robot. Fuck you, she's real to me, goddammit. I loved April. I am so fond of characters like this. Like, you have no idea what, like, my specific type of character that I'm super into is something that's very similar to April, right? Like, because, like, if you grab Anya and you grab Tara and you put them together, you kind of get April. And I think that explains a lot of what, like, my specific type brand of character is. And so I just felt like shit. Like I said it, I was like, when she started losing strength, I was like, oh, I already see where this is going and this is gonna suck. This is gonna make me feel like shit. Because I was already like, yeah, Buffy's just gonna talk to her and she's just gonna slowly fade away while she goes like, why is Warren here for me? Like, he's coming back, right? And I'm just... And like, Buffy could have made her like maybe realize it in her final moments. Instead, we went for something sadder, which is we're just gonna entertain her delusions until she fades away. She's gonna fade away feeling happy, because I guess what we're saying with April is that maybe April doesn't have the capability of, you know, having new thoughts and new feelings and new emotions and, you know, creating new directives or whatever. Like, because, you know, we're talking about a robot, we're talking about like an artificial intelligence. So there's always going to be a level of limitation to that. Maybe we're saying that was never going to happen with April, because April's inherent nature is something that's limited. So maybe she was never going to be able to understand that. So instead, Buffy just entertains the idea that, yeah, Warren loves you and he's going to come back, so that she at least fades away being happy. And that's so interesting, because in doing so, you're acknowledging the fact that she is a robot and she cannot change, while simultaneously treating her like a person that deserves a final mercy in her final moments. I love that. I love that. I love April. I love that character. God, I really enjoyed this episode. Like, this episode, I feel like my reaction to Ted, which was one of the most unhinged episodes I've seen, or rather, it was unhinged at the time. The show has gotten more off the rails since then, but at the time, I felt like that episode would just fuck me up. This episode fucked me up in different ways, because that episode was an episode that I felt like mattered, and then it didn't, and this episode is an episode that is memes, and they mentioned Ted. They were like, yeah, we're doing Ted too, but this time, it's sadder. This time you're gonna feel like shit for Ted, because Ted is actually the conduit for you to feel feelings through April, because her emotions are very real. Like that's the thing, is that April is representing something that maybe we all have felt at some point, which is this desire for affection, or maybe like your infatuation with someone that maybe wasn't the right person or didn't care, or whatever amount of reasons there could be, like whatever experience it might be, is something that I feel like we can relate to. And so it is very relatable to see April just being this machine that only has one goal, which is, I love this person and this person has to be with me. That's it. That's all she's about. The fact that she exists in the form that she exists is very cruel. I will say that, because I'm not gonna pretend that it isn't. The idea that Warren created her for this purpose only. Like, yes, there was a conversation that was floated around earlier in the episode with Willow and Tara, where they were like, you know, maybe he was just lonely, and like, is there something super fucked up or wrong, or not wrong, but like, isn't it understanding to just feel lonely and maybe you can't find anyone, and it's sad that you turn to this, but like, it's a very kind of innocent desire in a way. So on some way, they're not chastising the desire to want to have someone with you. Like, that's not what's wrong. What's wrong is the specific manner in which fucking Warren made this person, because he didn't treat her like a person. He treated her like something that was made to fulfill a certain task, which is to love him. And then he realized, wait, that's not fun or interesting at all. Not just fun, just interesting. Because like, then he saw, I think her name was Katrina or whatever. He saw Katrina and he was like, oh, she's like, I don't know what she said. I don't know what he said, but it was like, she like combats me a little bit, or like she had this like obsession with like weird traits or whatever. It's like, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. And I realized I was into her. And it's this thing of like, yes, you're gonna be into a person that is a person, not just something that is made to do a task and that's it. So now April becomes the symbol of something that is very real, but cannot ever grow or change. And we're just gonna pretend that it didn't happen and we're just gonna move on from that. That's what he said. Like, that's what he did. That's what Warren decided to do, just fucking leave her. And I like that Buffy felt offended when Warren said like, I'm just gonna leave her. It's because Buffy was treating her like a person, which is great. I love that. I love April in this episode. It's so good. Is it bad that I'm spending this amount of time just talking about this fucking robot instead of talking about Joyce dying or whatever? I already talked enough about Joyce dying. I reacted strong enough to Joyce dying. Fuck that. Okay, let me. I love April. Again, part of me selfishly wants her to stay because I just love this character so much. I also like the ending that she got because it was so tragic and so fucked up. And that was just kind of really interesting. What we say with her through April. What we show through April. I love that. Now I want to replay Persona 3. I love Persona 3. I love Aigis. God. Okay, let's talk about Spike. Spike gave me possibly the hardest reaction I've had to this show this episode. Before the whiplash hit me and it gave me another hard reaction, like 20 seconds later. But, okay, Spike in this episode, he once again worms his way into Buffy's life. He goes to the club and is like, hey, fancy you meeting you here, or whatever. It's like, he clearly followed her here, surely. They yeet him out the window. It's funny. Then he worms his way into the magic shop and he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna lie so you guys like me. And I like how Giles went Ripper mode for a second, Metal Gear Rising reference. And he was like, get the fuck away. Like Giles went in that mode. He went in like, this is my daughter's like abusive ex-boyfriend, and he went, get the fuck away. Do not ever show your face around here anymore. Like, he went so real, so serious, and I really like that. I really like when Giles can do that. I like whenever a little bit of the Reaper comes out, and I really enjoy that. He tells Spike, you have to be done with this. Like, this, you gotta move on from that. And then we get to see Spike. And for a second I got excited because Spike was throwing away all the photos and the wig and stuff. He was throwing all that into a box and he was like, I'll move on. And I'm sitting here like, he's moving on. I can't believe he's moving on. And then right before the end of the episode, like, we're seeing Warren try to talk to the girlfriend through the phone, and I'm sitting here like, I mean, it's nice to know that she dumped him because fuck that guy, but I was like, why are we watching Warren? Like, why does it matter that we're watching? Because like, we don't really get closure on this like episodic one-off characters. So I was sitting here like, why are we following this guy? So then Spike goes to this man's house and goes, hey, make me a Buffy. Oh my god. And like, whenever that happened, I lost it. Like, I don't think he even said what he wanted before I lost it because I already knew. Like, he showed up with the box and I was like, this is what he was doing. This is the only reason why he's here. Oh my god. So, we're probably going to see Warren again, a little bit at least, because Spike is making a Buffy that loves him, specifically. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, I don't know what that's gonna be like. I'm thinking about it and I'm like, if there was a second Buffy, which seems to be what's gonna happen, if there is a second robot Buffy, I don't know what that would be like. Because I don't know if that second Buffy, I mean, she's gonna be as strong as a robot, so she's also gonna be like a weird superhero, except that this one is much less durable. We know that they run on batteries, so she's gonna run on batteries. But more importantly, she's just gonna be in love with Spike and obsessed with Spike. Which, for a second I thought maybe that's what Spike needs, is someone to be obsessed with him. And I think that that's actually kind of true. But I'm also thinking about it and I'm like, I think that Spike likes Buffy because Buffy fights him all the time. But then again, he can program this new Buffy to do that anyway. It's just like, yeah, you hate me and you fight me and yeah, we just bicker all the time and you don't want to see my fucking face. But then we get real nasty about it because you're into it. It's like, I guess you can program that, so I guess that could happen. He just has to, Spike needs an understanding of himself in order to program that new Buffy correctly. Anyway, gross. let's just start by saying gross. Oh my god. Like, it's making me think to like, it's like using someone's likeness in order to create, I don't want to say a sex bot, but we saw April's UI when she was looking at Buffy. We saw her like OS, and there were several like little, I don't know, files, subsystems, subroutines that's just said sex, and it was like sex 1, sex 2, sex 3 or whatever. And it's like, sure, I understand that if that guy made that robot for one purpose, then of course he would include this. It doesn't make any goddamn sense why you wouldn't. Like, this is kind of an important feature, I would imagine. And I'm gonna imagine that Spike is gonna do the exact same thing. Gross. But I'm looking into the future and I'm thinking about it and I'm like, that is like a bombshell that dropped and then immediately got another bombshell, which is Joyce is dead. Because like, I don't know what Robo Buffy would add to the mix. I just know that it's gonna be spicy. I just know that it's gonna be fucking unhinged. And is there a possibility that it could end well? Like, we end up befriending Buffy? Like, Robo Buffy and Buffy, they befriend each other and then we just... But like, everyone hates Spike. And this is Spike's Robo Buffy. But I also don't know exactly how Buffy feels about Spike at this point. I don't know what it is gonna end up being. The craziest scenario we could get is two Buffys fighting each other over Spike. That's the craziest shit I can imagine. It could happen. It can happen, I guess. Oh my god, we never left Ted. We got Ted, and I didn't know at the time, but Ted was actually so crucial to the show. In like a weird twisted way. Ted laid the groundwork in order for April to run and Robo Buffy to sprint. I don't know what Spike is. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I have to say, Spike, I honestly got excited when Spike showed up at the club. I can imagine that maybe a lot of people want to watch that and they go like, oh my fucking god, this guy. And part of me feels that way. But another part of me is beyond that point. Another part, like, I don't feel weirded out or indignant. I don't, at this point I see Spike and I'm like, all right, the clown is here. Here we fucking go. The circus has arrived in town. Spike is here. Hell yeah. Like, that's how I feel. It's honestly kind of fun. I'm at that point. I think Spike is kind of fun. I think he's always been fun, but I think at this point it's gone so far off the rails that there is no way for me to like hate Spike. I just I don't hate him. I love to hate him, which is a weird situation to be in. It's kind of similar to Buffy, I guess. I'm just sitting here like, this dude fucking sucks. But oh my god, whenever he's on screen, I know that the scene is gonna be fun, right? And that's what I'm excited about. Anyway, sure. I guess that is the Spike update. I don't know what's happening with Ben. I zero understanding of whatever the fuck might be happening with Ben. Like, the Ben situation is... Okay, in this episode, I actually had a new thought that I consider, and I discarded initially, but then I was like, there's no reason for me to discard it. It could still be the case. They just share a body. Like, Glory and Ben share a body. And maybe that is something that you could have just thought about last time. Maybe that's actually the normal thing to think. I didn't think that. In my head, I was thinking, you know, they traded places or something. Like, that's what I was thinking. Because in my head, I was so stuck on the idea that, you know, they are different people. Because I think that maybe we have seen scenes back to back of like Glory and then Ben in like different places, and maybe in my head I thought about those scenes happening kind of simultaneously. Maybe they didn't. Maybe there was just like Glory happens. Have you ever seen Ben during the day? Well, we have seen Glory during the night. Have we ever seen Glory during the day? I don't think so. I mean, the thing is that there's a bunch of scenes that happen indoors, and in my head I'm thinking like, oh, this is happening during the day, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's happening during nighttime. So maybe Ben happens during the day and Glory happens during the night. But then this makes me question like, why was Ben trying to date Buffy? And that's it. That's the interesting part, is that for a second it looked like he was trying to date Buffy, and it's like, why? Why was he trying to do that? Because he's not operating with Glory. In fact, he doesn't want to. So we can say that he at least is not on Glory's side. Is he a third party? Is he trying to help? But if he was trying to help, he would be more open about what's going on. Unless his nature as Glory's doppelganger doesn't allow him to. Maybe. I don't know. That's why that situation was so interesting, is because Buffy was trying to flirt with Ben. She was trying to get Ben's attention. She was trying to date Ben. And in my head, I was like, I don't know if that would be good or not. I don't know what Ben's deal is. I know a lot about Ben, but I don't know enough about Ben. Even though I know an insane amount about this character, I don't know enough about it in order to make an actual call about like what the fuck his deal is. So that's why it's so interesting. But yeah, I didn't know if there was ever a situation where Ben and Glory were in the same place, or if they were shown to be in different places at the same time. I don't know if that ever happened, but if that were to happen, I wasn't paying enough attention. But let's just move forward on the assumption that maybe they are just both sharing the same body, and maybe it is not determined by specific triggers like Ben finding out about Dawn. Maybe it's determined by time, or maybe it's triggers. I don't know. I still don't know what the fuck their deal is. Ben is Rasputin. That's all like. That's just another one to throw at the wall. It could happen. I don't know. I don't know what else I can say about this episode. Joyce is dead, and when I say dead, I don't mean maybe immediately dead. Maybe she will die next episode. Sorry, I've been playing too much Magic the Gathering. She'll die next episode, or 2 episodes from now, or whatever. There was a scene where the scene with Buffy and Santa near the end. It looks very weird. It looks like a dream. The color filter is weird, but maybe that's just the file of the episode I got. I loved April. I love April so much. I think her actress, whatever the actress was, did a fantastic job. Or like her very robotic movements, her smile, and her cadence made me feel so much for this character, who's just a character that was made for one purpose only, and they don't know anything outside of it, and that's so sad. But they are obsessed with it. And it's also the concept of love, which is a very soft spot for me. I love characters like this so much. I have a list of characters like this that I am absolutely in love with. I loved April. I'm sad. Is it fucked up to say that I'm more sad about April than I am for Joyce? Maybe that's because I already mourned Joyce like 10 episodes ago. I was like, she's dead. Like, I already accepted Joyce's death. I haven't accepted April's death yet. So maybe I'm gonna go through that. But I still feel like shit about Joyce. That didn't make it better, by the way. Like, I'm kind of playing when I talk about April and Joyce, but like, I feel like next episode, I'm going to feel like dog shit. For sure. There is 0 chance that Joyce lives. Because like, it wouldn't be like narratively satisfactory to say like, oh, Joyce got a brain tumor, and then we go through this like 5-episode arc of like her going through it, deteriorating, and then going into surgery, and then it's like, oh, it was a success and she's fine and she's recovering, oh hell yeah, she's good now, and then she relapses, something else happens, and it's like, oh, I don't know, they didn't do the surgery right, or they didn't take it up fully out, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna go do another surgery, and this time we're gonna save her or whatever, and then she's fine again. It's not gonna happen. There's 0 chance that she's fine again. That wouldn't make sense. The only reason you do this is in order to tell you she's dead, by the way. She's fucking dead. There's no fucking way. And I already felt that way because we had her goodbye scene many episodes ago. So maybe, if anything, that goodbye scene, the reason why it happened earlier is because we're not gonna get a new goodbye scene. And that would be even more depressing. Because maybe Joyce is in a state, because his brain, Joyce is in a state where she's not gonna be able to even have a conversation with Buffy anymore. Maybe she's in a coma. Maybe she's dead already. I don't know that, because I'm assuming that she's not dead yet. She's gonna die next episode, because she was just like this. So maybe she's just like in a coma or something. I don't know. I don't know what her situation is, but maybe she is already dead, or maybe she's in a position where we're never going to be able to talk to her again. And maybe that's the reason why we had that goodbye scene several episodes ago, is because we're not going to get a new one now. And that's making it sadder. That's more fucked up. I hate it. Fuck. Okay. Honestly, the fucking nerve of this show. To throw you into Ted 2, actually, Ted makes you feel sad now. Into Spike is making Robo Buffy. So dead 3. And then Joyce is dead. I feel like I'm being fucked with, almost. This episode really took me for a ride. Like, I went from whenever I was losing my shit at Spike, and then it got to Buffy walking into her house. I was still going through it, and then she went, Joy, to do with mom, and I was like, oh my god, did something happen to Joyce? And before I recovered, we see Joyce's body, and I'm just sitting here like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I'm freaking the fuck out. I don't know what I'm feeling anymore, and I'm still kind of there. You know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling hungry. I'm gonna go check the food that I left in the oven. It was very low heat. Don't worry about it. It's probably fine. I'm gonna go do that. Fuck this episode. I actually really like this episode. I don't mean it in the sense of I didn't like it, because I very much enjoyed it. I loved April. I don't know what the fuck Spike is doing. It's gonna be spicy, but I guess that's fun. It's creepy as fuck, but I guess it's fun. So I don't know. And Joyce is dead. All right. Next episode. Goodbye, everybody. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into this reaction episode to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Check out the link in the description below. Pop up on screen. Cool stuff. Support the channel. Watch early episodes on Patreon. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Goodbye.